All I know is McDonald's charge they phone. Be bisexual, eat hot chip and lie. That's what it is. So this thing, let's endure my unstructured, extremely unqualified opinions on this gun real quick. And then yeah, I don't really know. I don't know what the purpose of this is. I'm not gonna try to make you buy a gun because I think that's dumb. Anyway, Springfield Hellion. I'm gonna go ahead and refer to it to the VHS, henceforth refer to it as the VHS because I think that's less dumb sounding. 16-inch barrel. I got this OSS can on it. It's got an adjustable gas system, piston, gun, cool. Whole body's plastic, neat. The muzzle device on this thing was the hardest torqued down I have ever seen a muzzle device be. I had to remove the entire barrel from the gun, so completely take it out of the receiver, everything, which was a project. Not really though, it's kind of easy. Use an armorer's wrench with a breaker bar attached to it and all my body weight on a vise. So that was cool. So I guess they have some sort of large Croatian gentleman who does that. What do we got? Gas system. Handguard, neat, it's M-lock, whatever. QD cups, every gun should have that after the year 2010. Mounting options are a little silly, just because you have, like, wherever you put a light is going to be directly over your hand. So definitely needs some kind of like light bar or something. This gun's kind of just a work in progress for me, but I have maybe a little over 1,000 through it by this point, so I figure I have as qualified as an opinion as I'm ever gonna get on it. What else? Cool, M-lock. This comes off easy with an HK style pin. Captive, neat, whatever. Charging handle, cool. It does the G36 thing. What I don't like about it is this, where I'm kind of reaching in there and fishing for it. I kind of wish I could lock it to one side or the other. I think the G36 might do that. I'm not sure. It does have a forward assist. That's cool. It's this little thing you pull down and you can manipulate the bolt with that, so that's neat. What else? Get some body pins. All the body pins on this gun are these cool HK style, so that's neat. Easy to take apart and put back together. Your pistol grip. It's the SIG / BCM / HK OEM, whatever the hell. I don't know who makes these. This one doesn't have a brand on it. It's the one we all know. It is angled at a funny angle, but because of this grip's rake angle to begin with, it kind of just ends up being about 90 degrees. People whine about the selector switch. I'm not entirely sure why. It's big and easy to get a hold of. Just like an AR, down is fire, up is safe. I think people get wrapped around the axle because they're reaching a little bit further or the angle's slightly different. Down is safe, up is fire, no problem. Let me whine about the trigger for a second. So the trigger, I'm a lefty, so you know, you're just gonna have to suffer through watching this. The trigger feels like it's not gritty, it's not heavy, it's just long, man. It's like a really long single stage. Here's what it feels like. Not this. This. Feels like a P99's double action pull. I don't know what that information is worth to you. I don't know if you've ever touched a P99. Maybe a Canik's the same way, I'm not sure. That's the closest thing I can liken it to, though. Which, I will say, when you're zeroing the gun, it was actually pretty agonizing. Because I'm like, you know, doing the whole thing where we really try to pull our trigger well to zero. I'm pulling, and then I'm getting this creeping claustrophobic feeling. And I'm like, when is it gonna break? And then it breaks. A few times I find myself backing off the trigger and being like, shake it out, what the fuck? In terms of practical shooting, that actually didn't really bother me. Can't make it go super fast. Kind of is what it is. You probably could if you trained on it a bunch. Like I said, I only have about 1,000 rounds through it, maybe a little bit more. So, that kind of is what it is. Speaking of zeroing it, your mechanical offset's significantly higher on this gun than a normal AR. I would liken it to something like this, where it's even taller than the cool, trendy, tall boy mounts. So it does take some learning. You'll see me when I shoot it. I'm oftentimes hitting low. It's just something you need to sit there and get a few hundred rounds through to kind of get it intuitive. I had to do it with this gun. I had to do it with my RMR on top of my ACOG. So, I mean, it's just something to get used to. I generally prefer lower 1/3. That's neither here nor there. Yep, you got your... So this whole gun's truly ambi, which is really sweet. Even like these takedown grabber clamp things are ambi. Magazine releases ambi, bolt releases ambi. We'll talk about that in a second. But you can flip the bolt to be left hand or right side eject. I'm a lefty, so this is cool because the first fucking time in my life, this gun gets to be a pain in the ass for everybody but me to shoot. Here's the stock. It extends. I don't know why. It's already got a long length of bolt. It's neat though. Cool. I have actually found myself extending it to shoot it with night vision, just to push the optic away from my face. So that's cool. Get this cheek riser. It goes up and down. 2 dust covers, like I said. The gun's literally mirrored on both sides. Like seriously every single part of this, which is tits. That's cool. I like that. Integrated flip-up irons that come with it are sick. They zero super easy. They're metal. They're spring-loaded. They don't really have any play when you're just jingle-jangling them here. This one's kind of like the HK style, which I fucking don't like rotary sights, the HK style. whatever the fuck they're called. I don't like them. Sorry. But yeah, you can do the whole range thing here with the different apertures. So that's neat. I just leave it on the big one because I'm stupid. So as far as shooting this goes, it feels a lot like a bullpup AR-18 because it is. The recoil impulse is one of those, and we're building, but instead of the smooth, fast AR cycle that we're all used to, it almost feels like an MP5 with more recoil. It's kind of hard to describe a good AR-18, but that's what this feels like. That means it's not jarring, but it's definitely not just a laser beam super flat like an AR. You do have stuff moving around up here. The gas system's nice. It can be tuned. I don't really have to tune it because of this can. What else? It takes a little AR cassette trigger basically in the back here, except it's obviously doesn't have a trigger attached to it. You have linkage coming up through here. The mag changes are something you have to get used to. I always end up slamming my finger right here when I'm going for mag changes because I don't consistently shoot this gun for, you know, thousands of rounds or whatever yet, although I could. So come back here, dump your magazine. You can do the 2 magazine thing, whatever. And then you have the little pinchy bolt release thing. I think it's supposed to be a gross motor skill deal where you just kind of insert your magazine and sweep it. People do this. I don't care what you do. It's not hard. You can get sub-C 3-second, like 1 reload 2s, 1 reload 1s with it, or sub 4 second rather, sub 3.5. I think I got like 3.2, kind of not really trying, so that's neat. Overall, I would not be mad if somebody handed this to me. I wouldn't feel under-equipped. There's really not much I have bad to say about it. It produces groups that are much tighter than I expect, especially given the trigger. It really does. Every time I go shoot a group for like just precision or whatever with it, or confirm 0, it shocks me. So that's really cool. Absolutely covered in QD cups, so you can put your sling wherever the fuck you want on it. It takes AR grips. It eats any. Here's a. Where is that thing? Yeah. This is rebranded Golden Tiger, I think is what it's called. It's a 223 lacquer coated steel case with a 545 primer, and absolutely no gun that I put them in that isn't an AK will shoot those. This one will shoot them consistently. Everything else doesn't hit the primer hard enough, so that's pretty cool. It's definitely, it runs really clean. I haven't cleaned this before. It's been wet. I've brought it out in the, it's been through a couple downpours. I've dumped water on it to get this thing cold. And it stays clean. You can see the Ricardo Silva. So that's really neat. It's basically just a bullpup G36, or at least that's what it feels like. I picked it up in the store to make fun of it when these first came out, and then I kind of realized, I don't hate this like every Tavor I've ever held. And they were like, yeah, we're doing a special on it, and it was significantly cheaper than they even are now. So I was like, all right, fine, fucking out of the box, just get this over with. So I got it. I like it. Eventually, it does manipulate very well. You can do things with it a little bit easier than a standard rifle. You do have the bullpup-isms like the reloads and your trigger and your funny ergonomics and everything. Honestly, this foregrip isn't bad. You can just grip it normally. This is the most retarded light setup I've ever seen in my life. I wouldn't recommend doing this. I was just kind of trying stuff. You can do the reach through and poke the pressure pad. It's dumb, I know. Eventually, I'd like to put a laser on this and kind of just leave it set up because it's actually quite pleasurable to shoot at night, and it suppresses really well. Not gassy at all. Even when it's set up for right-handed eject with me, I'm pretty sensitive to gas. Don't notice any of it with this. It doesn't get super hot. It takes to water really well. The parts don't wear. It's actually very quiet, even with this suppressor, which I do really think is cool. I think maybe the plastic makes it quieter. I don't know. What am I missing? Probably a bunch. Anyway, oh yeah, barricades. Super easy to manipulate around barricades. Height over bore, your mechanical offset does become a thing. That's why I tend to only stick with lower 1/3. I can still use that with nods. But when I'm doing something like a 9-hole drill, you kind of end up having to like cant the gun when you're not really, you shouldn't really be required to kind of get a sight picture. I know there's that whole keyhole shooting meme, but I'm not really into that with a carbine. So yeah, it manipulates fine around barricades. It's very easy to just throw over your shoulder, do like a short stock thing, throw under your arm, do stuff, whatever. It's easy to run around with. Overall, I do genuinely think I own like 40 something guns, and this thing's really actually quite an awesome, pleasurable gun to own and shoot. So anyway, that's it. I'll see ya.